What's up YouTube, NCG here, bringing you a Wave of Light structure deck opening, yeah! So, we have now received more counter fairy support, which is very, very nice, and of course, Parshaft support as well. This is kind of a nice little angle for counter fairies to be more aggressive if you want them to be. Otherwise, you get some nice reprints in here, and some nice new introductions to the counter fairy kind of art type. So, of course, you get a standard deck, with one token as well, so it turns it into a 42 card deck, I believe, or 42 cards in total. You've then got, of course, the mat, which is incredibly nice. I love this mat, very, very nice. The new Valkyrie card, the new Parshaft card, and another card there for the counter fairies. And then, of course, you get your beautiful rulebook as well. Anyway, continuing on with opening this one up, I love the first card already, Eve. Eva, it's so weird because it doesn't look like a fairy at all. It looks like an alien. So it seems a bit misplaced in this deck, which is quite funny, but regardless, it still looks very, very cool, and it's still quite powerful in the deck as well, and can be very, very useful depending on what type of angle you want to go for with the deck. So let's start off with our Eva. So if this card is sent from the graveyard, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 other light fairy monsters from your field and/or graveyard. Add the same number of level 2 or lower light fairy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except Eva. So it's quite a nice little recycling ability. Search ability. You've just got to be playing those lower level cards to do so. Your Sacred Arch Air Knight Parshaft, again, very, very nice little boss monster. If you activate a counter trap, or if you negate the activation of a spell or trap card or monster effect, you can banish 2 other fairy monsters from your hand, field, and/or graveyard, and special summon this card from your from the graveyard if it was there, or from the hand. So the wording is a little bit weird on this, but it basically it gets to special summon itself from the graveyard if it's in the graveyard, or from the hand. If this card attacks a defensive monster, inflict piercing battle damage. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Parshaft or counter card. The best thing about this is, number one, it's not once per turn, and it doesn't actually state that you can only control 1 of these. So if you do have 1 in the graveyard, you can probably end the board with having 2 of these, and probably go for a couple of rank plays if you want to as well. Power Angel Valkyria. If you negate the activation of a spell or trap card or monster effect, you get to add a light fairy monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only use the effect once per turn. Sanctum of Parshaft. This card's name becomes the Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. Fairy monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Set spell and trap cards cannot be targeted or destroyed by your by card effects. It's very, very important that it stops your Twin Twisters, the MSTs, and of course your Cosmic Cyclones. Once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters and/or counter traps with different names in your graveyard and place them on top of the deck in any order. Nice little recyclable power there. Okay, so now on to Rebirth of Parshaft. Very, very cool counter card. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, you reveal 1 counter trap in your hand, then discard 1 card and pay 1,000 life points. So you pretty much do everything. And if you do, you shuffle that card into the deck. Then you get to special summon 1 Parshaft monster from your deck or extra deck. So if you've got Guardian Ariadne in there, you're going to be doing all of that for free, which is really, really cool. Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Each time a counter trap is activated, immediately after it resolves, this card gains 500 attack, and if it does, and the Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, you add a counter trap with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. Neo Parshaft, Sky Paladin. Air Knight Parshaft, obviously quite straightforward on that. Mattel, Sage of the Sky. Each time a counter trap is activated, immediately after it resolves, you gain 1,000 life points, and if you do, Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, you get to destroy a card your opponent controls. Harvest Angel of Wisdom. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you get to target a counter trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Some nice little recyclabilities there. Bountiful Artemis, very, very powerful card. Layard the Liberator. Guardian Ariadne, very important in a heavy counter trap version, especially if you're paying life points or discarding. Your Archlord Christia. Your Splendid Venus. Your Athena. Your Tyrus, the Goddess of Light. Your Heracles. Your Galadio, or Galadio, apologies if I brutalise that. Nova Summoner, Honest, very straightforward in the light deck. Herald of Orange Light, very nice card. Tuner, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send this card and 1 other fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation if you do destroy it. Herald of Green Light, when your opponent activates a spell or spell card, you can send this card and 1 other fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation and destroy it. And again, Purple Light is going to be for the trap cards, the exact same. Guardian Light, when this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 1 light monster in your graveyard and special summon it. your DD Sprite. Special summon this card from your hand by banishing one face-up monster you control. If you summon this way during your next standby phase, return the banished monster to the field. It's a nice little circle out ability. Hanawata, stop those pesky tricksters. Sanctuary in the Sky, cards from the sky. This one is a little bit disheartening because you basically banish one light fairy monster in your hand, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You cannot special summon or conduct your battle phase until you activate this card. One of the more harsher draw cards in the game. Celestial Transformation, Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, gets your big beaters on board. Tides of the Brethren, very, very important if you want to play that version. Light of Judgment, Miraculous Descent, Synthetic, basically token producer. Each time a counter track is activated, immediately after it resolves, special on 1 Synthetic Seraphim token, level 1 fairy. Nice. Divine Punishment, Dark Bribe, Solemn Warning, of course, Ultimate Providence, Drastic Drop Off. Everyone loves to search, so when your opponent adds a card or cards from their deck to the hand, including drawing, they must discard one of those cards. Recall, and then of course your token as well. So that's it, very straightforward on the deck, very, very simple. It's a nice little deck to get a couple of nice counter trap reprints. And overall, a nice little deck to get ties, again, is a nice reprint. If you really like the counter fairy kind of stuff and you want the new support, or you didn't have a chance to get all the old support, it's definitely a deck worth picking up, because counter fairies will always be a nice little anti-meta deck, and can be very, very powerful and useful for kind of battling the meta and what's coming up and around it. I will be bringing you a deck profile of counter fairies on Thursday, so stick around for that. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys. See ya.